Hi, everybody. Shannon Johnson. Nice to meet you. Today, we're discussing the element of wood. This is part of the element series that I'm doing live on Facebook. And as you can see next to me, I have some wood element stuff here. Also need my notes. So, it's cold here. I'm still having some. Per usual, I've been having all kinds of computer issues, attempting to come live. And I almost, there's Tika. They've been fascinated with the plant that I brought in, which is a sage, type of sage. So we're going to get into the element of wood. As my cat decides to walk all around my stuff. So the element of wood, okay, even though whether anybody's viewing this or not, I'm going to keep rolling with the series, I do believe. I don't know, I debated this morning about just canceling the whole thing, but I'm here, I'm doing it. Spirit wanted me to come on and do what needed to be done, what I was going to do. So anyway, the element of wood in traditional Chinese medicine is one of the primary 5 elements, where in other teachings, it might be spirit as the 5th element, it might be ether, it might be the void, it might be any number of things. But today we're going to do the element of wood because the whole point of the series is to bring together and integrate all of the different teachings and actually bring us to 11 to 12 elements, and also to be able to bring in how do these elements, how are they a part of us, our environment, and helping to bring homeostasis into the picture by utilizing the wood element, all of the different elements together, as well as, guys, quit messing with my computer. Okay, so the archetype of the wood element is the hero, explorer, and the warrior. That's the archetypes. The yin organ is the liver, and its time of day in the 24-hour cycle period, based on traditional Chinese medicine, is from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. The yang organ is the gallbladder, and its time is from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. Now, understand that wood is the most yang of all of the elements. Hi, Chris. Glad to see you. The color for wood is green, which I really love that, because when we're looking at the chakra system, we see green, the green chakra, and yet it's also related to the element of wood. My cats have been having a field day since I brought one of the plants in, so if you see them, don't get too distracted. Okay, the emotion for the element of wood, the negative emotion for wood is anger, and The positive emotion for the wood element is kindness. So those are the two that balance each other, the yin and yang emotions, the element of wood. And the dog is now pushing the table. So anyway, I'm just going to keep going. It also, the other emotions related to the element of wood are optimism, patience, and altruism. And if you think about that, how would patience be related to wood? It takes like 100 years for a tree to mature. It takes a lot of patience. You know, plants, those kinds of things all take a long time. They take a lot of nurturing. There's also idealism, spontaneity, and curiosity are also related, mental aspects related to the element of wood. Thank you, Chris. I have a lot of distractions around. Okay, so the sound related to the element of wood is shouting, okay? And these are all how they relate to the human body, okay? So that we can realize we're really attuned to the different elements that in the different teachings that are out there. Hi, Anna. The sense related to wood is sight and the eyes. It flourishes the nails, fingernails, toenails, and it nourishes the sinew tissues within the body. That's what it nourishes. So if you think of tendons, ligaments, myofascial tissue, these are sinews in the body, and that's what the wood element it nourishes. On the tongue, the flavor is sour, make you pucker up. And its season is spring, and we're in spring, so it's a perfect time to talk about the element of wood. Even though I'm doing all of these elements in the month of April, this one particularly relates to spring. It is also related to the planet Jupiter. And I know I had a note. Yeah. Wood and ether are the two related elements in different teachings. And so in Vedic astrology, ether is associated with Jupiter, but so is wood is associated with Jupiter. And the reason why I bring up these things is because if you dive into your astrological chart in an in-depth fashion, you're going to find the alignment of Jupiter and what planet it was in that it relates to you. It can be in Vedic astrology or regular astrology, I guess the standard that most people utilize. But you can see how your energy works with Jupiter, which is how it is working with the wood element in your life plan. Its direction is east and southeast. So remember that some of these teachings, there's different elements to the directions. But again, we're integrating teachings and bringing them kind of all full circle and seeing how much they relate to each other. So it's east and southeast. Excuse me. In the when the brain just goes boop. Meridians, dealing with like polarity therapy and the meridians in the body, which are the electrical currents. There's also the different channels, okay, meridian channels. And so for the element of wood, like I already mentioned, the yin and yang organs, these are the yin and yang meridian channels in the body that relate to those organs. Excuse me. So the yang organ is the gallbladder. We don't know much about our gallbladder. Most people are only concerned if they have stones, do they learn about their gallbladder. But the gallbladder channel, its function is to receive and store bile. Excuse me, I need to get a drink. I'm having allergies today. So, anyway, gallbladder receives and stores bile. That's its job. And it's an expression of the liver's role of ensuring the smooth flow of qi. Qi is energy, qi within the body, and healthy functioning of the sinews. That's its purpose. The gallbladder channel also functions to impart courage and control one's ability to make decisions. It's also the one you would use to treat issues with ligaments, tendons, muscle disorders, headaches, tinnitus, vertigo, eye and speech disorders. And you can Google the pictures for the gallbladder channel. It's a 30-point channel in the body. It starts up here. It's got several points all up here, and then it comes down the body, and it kind of does a little bit of a zigzag until it comes down further. The yin organ is the liver. So the yin meridian channel is the liver channel. And the liver stores blood, ensures the smooth movement of qi, and controls the sinews, opens into the eyes, and manifests in the nails. So that's one of the areas, like if you're having a lot of discoloration in your nails or things that should not be there, you might want to be looking at things that relate to your liver. You might want to do a liver cleanse. You might want to have a liver check. You know, make sure that baby is doing well, because you only have one liver and it's not easy to replace it. Just saying. I like this part because we talked in the metal cycle about, oh my goodness, let me see, what the hell did my notes say? Because it said about the corporeal soul. Lung channel governs the chi, and I think it's the large intestine channel. But you know, when you try to read your own notes. Anyway, in here it says about the corporeal soul. Anyway, moving on, because I don't feel like doing it. The liver channel houses the ethereal soul energy. And we're talking traditional Chinese medicine. So that's another way of looking at it. It's vulnerable to wind and dampness, and its excess is emotions of anger, resentment, irritation, and dietary indiscretions. That's when your liver channel needs a little work. So moving into some of the the Feng Shui teachings about wood, and there again, I'm not well versed in Feng Shui, but I've been doing research on it for these purposes, so that to kind of help round out some of the different teachings about wood. That my video. Okay. We're reset. Yeah. Hopefully that all recorded. I don't know. I gave up about my computer and recording today. Spirit was keeping me very busy trying to get this stupid thing to work today. Anyway, moving on. Skipping it. Feng Shui. So, you visualize growing wood to help branch out into new ventures and projects. Using the wood element would be using the strength and flexibility to tackle difficult challenges. You can use the strength and honesty and forgiving nature of wood to heal relationships. You can use the upward movement to overcome obstacles and rise above them, right? Because a tree grows, plants grow. Another good way of incorporating the wood element into your environment near you, or helping to keep things balanced, water fountains, because the water element creates and nourishes the wood energy. So water fountains are a good way to help enhance the wood element energy in your home or surroundings. Now, here was something that I didn't know about, and I'd have to disagree with it a bit, and I'll explain that. Healthy plants. As you can see, I have a brand new healthy plant here. This is another kind of sage. It's not white sage. I forget what it's called, but it is sage. Now, in one of the Feng Shui teachings is that dried flowers, potpourri, these kinds of dried woods, are all considered dead woods. And you're supposed to get rid of them and put in healthy plants. Now, that one contradicts for me. And here's why. Because the more that I've studied the plant energy system and the consciousness of the plant collective energies, depending how the plant has been treated, granted, okay, when they're raped, they hurt. Dried flowers, the plants that have been raped without their permissions, carry that type of energy to them. But for me, like, I love roses and I love lots of different flowers, but I use a lot of dried roses in different types of healing ceremonies, fire ceremonies, that kind of thing. And I also use a lot of dried flowers that were originally alive on display in my home, and then I allowed them to dry, and I have them on my altar in the other room that you've seen. And what I've come to understand is that depending on how they're nurtured while alive, the energy remains within the plant. That's why, like, dried lavender has such a great quality. You can use, all that kind of thing. Potpourri, not so much, because it depends on how you got it. Yeah, you're not supposed to display dead plants. They should be dried and stored. You're correct, Chris. But then on the other hand, there's the other aspect of it, depending on how you dried them, how you handled them. Because like some of my plants, I let them go ahead and die out, like some of my herb plants outside. I'm using the living plant all year long, but then when it hits its winter cycle and like my basil does not regenerate here, it dies. But I allow it to go through the dying cycle because it's already seeded. I allow it to dry out, and then I utilize it in other ways in the home, including getting the seeds to plant for the next spring. So that's where I have a little bit of conflict about the dead flowers and the dried flower or dried plant aspect because I use a lot of dried plants, I guess to say, in different work that I do. So I'd say it's probably more relatable. Like if you have if you were to have a plant like this and it's completely died, it's flopped over, there's nothing going on with it, it has no life left in it, and you've just got it sitting in a corner, that's not a good energy. There's a difference, right? So energy intent of drying flowers or drying plants for intended use post life and handled with that positive intent, those will be useful, right? You're going to be using them in different contexts. But a plant that's just sitting there withering away in your home, not so much. Not when you need to go. Okay. Another good way of working with the wood element, especially in springtime, is to clear the surface clutter to renew the chi. And I love this one because there's your spring cleaning. The old, everybody was always like, oh, your grandmother, your great grandmother, oh, it's spring, it's time for spring cleaning. Why? Because it refreshes and renews, right? And the more that we can refresh and renew the energy in our home and in ourselves, the better homeostasis we have. And that's one of my biggest points. Homeostasis, happiness, joy, feeling good where you live and feeling good in your body. Believe me, this has been a long journey for me of figuring this shit out. All right, so wood items to incorporate in your surroundings. Wooden statues and houseplants. So you can see I have my beautiful lavender here. Now this one is actually not going for the inside. It's going to end up outside on my patio. But like I bring in aloe plants are in my home, and those have an amazing energy to them. They're very good cleansers and help the flow of the chi. So it brings up about wooden statues. I have lots of wood in my house. So I'm always having to balance with, like this. This is a wooden statue. This is made by Dryad Designs, and it's all wood, carved. This is Bridget, by the way, if you don't know who Bridget is. All right. So you can use things like this. You can see behind me, I have wood frames that are made from different special types of woods. I have custom wood furniture made from real wood, not fiberboard. Fiberboard is not wood. Okay? Laminate, not wood. And even that one over there has about 5 different types of woods incorporated into that frame. But like that one's patook and cedar. Yes, feed your wood in the spring. Okay, some other little things you can do small. If you don't have space to do large things, you can do small things. So like this one, if you can't figure her out, but it's the Maid, the Mother, and the Crone. Okay, and this is also carved out of wood. Great piece. I have a lot of Dryad design pieces because I absolutely love the creative process they do. And they're very intricate in their carvings. So you can use something simple like this. You can incorporate wood candle holders. Simple, something easy. My husband made this one. Uh, I forget. I think that's walnut. Mortar and pestle, made of wood. Okay. Great thing to grind up your herbs in, spices when you need them to powder something. But there again, I'm a wood addict. Wood addict, seriously. And yeah, hubby made this one too. And I know you do lots of wood creations, Chris. I love that. So that's another one. These little itty bitty pieces, what are they? This is cedar. These did come off of a tree that died, okay, because we don't chop our trees down. But when they've fallen, my husband does go and get them, and we use them for all kinds of things, whether it's the fireplace or making things or building things. Yeah. But these you can see are small. And what are these for? We put these in our wallet. These are extras. That's why they're not in the wallet. But these, he keeps one, I keep one. You put it in where you keep your money, and it helps the flow of chi energy with abundance, positive flow of money. Who would think? A piece of wood, cedar in your wallet. This is a cedar smudge stick. And I've shown this before, but this is cedar smudge stick. It's also a great one to use for cleansing and clearing the energy of your home. Adding to an incense burner, a charcoal burner, you can add this in, do a few clippings off of it. Cypress, not cypress, with it. I was thinking about the cypress tree that I have dying outside, so excuse me. But no. Some days my brain just wants to do crazy shit when I'm trying to talk. Another good one we all know about, Palo Santo sticks, wood element, cleansing and healing energy. Okay. So those are just some different items. So if you want to think about it, since South and Southeast are the areas for the wood element to be strongest, the south end of your home is great to put wood items because wood produces fire. Okay. Northeast and southwest corners, not so good. Okay. Because wood destroys earth. How does wood destroy earth? Trees root down into the earth, disturbing the earth element. Okay, so that's one of those areas. If you're putting a lot of wood in those areas, you need to balance it so that it's in the nourishing cycle and not in the constricted cycle. Okay, so if you're gonna put wood in those areas, and I have wood throughout my entire home because, like I said, I'm a wood addict. You're going to want to bring more of a balanced, rounded element circle to those spaces. So that way you're balancing the chi, you're not leaving just those elements there. Gemstones that are related to the wood element. Their colors are green, aqua, and purple. And I forgot my amethyst, of course. But I did grab a couple of others. And these are raw, so, but isn't that a nice green? So you're going to want stones that are aquamarine, specific gemstones, okay? Aquamarine, amethyst, tanzanite, iolite, tourmaline, and sapphires are all crystals related to the wood element. So you got some nice little green. I got some raw tanzanite. I know it looks funny, but it's raw. Another way to work with the wood element is through oils on charcoal. And so, like these have, this one's violet, this one's carnation. And kind of like, how is that wood element? Because it's plant energy. Plant energy relates a lot to the wood element because they're part of that natural process. So those are the types of stones you would want to use to work with it. So the yin, see, my sinuses are draining because we have pollen going like crazy. The oak trees are in bloom and it kills me. But I would never get rid of my oak trees. I'd rather suffer. So water and wood go well together, right? They're favorable to one another because water nourishes wood, okay? The yang is metal and fire, right? Wood creates fire. Fire melts metal. Metal cuts down trees, okay? Or you could also look at it in the controlling way, which is really what we were just talking about. That's how they control one another. Or if you go the opposite way, they don't do so good. Wood feeds the fire element. That's the generating cycle. And wood parts the earth through its root systems. And that's the overcoming cycle. And then if you're looking at Chinese astrology, since I brought this up with the metal one, I wanted to do it for the wood one as well and all the others if I can figure it all out. Anyway, in Chinese astrology, the birth years for a wood elemental person, if it's for the yang, it's years ending in 4. Your birth year ending in the number 4 gives you the yang side of wood element. If you are born in a year ending in 5, that gives you the yin wood element energy. Right? The animals in the Chinese astrology associated to the wood element is the tiger, the rabbit, and the dragon. I thought those were cool. And the more I started thinking about it, it's like, well, dragon breathes fire. Okay, I could see that. Rabbit. You look at where rabbits put their burrows in nature, and I bring this up because we have wild rabbits on our property, but they put their burrows up close to a tree that hides them, go down under. And a tiger climbs trees. Okay. They hunt a lot from higher level. And I already mentioned that wood and ether are associated in most astrology forms because of planet Jupiter that they relate to. So that's pretty much what I've got on the element of wood. I was really surprised there was not as much information on the element of wood as there was on the element of metal. But, you know, there again, metal relates to the lungs. The wood element also relates to the lung energy. And I spoke about this before in the other video last week. But if you look at the bronchi inside the lungs, it looks like trees. Our trees and our plants are vital to our existence, because without them, we have no oxygen. And our body is dependent upon oxygen for homeostasis. Disease does not like oxygen in the body. So if you're struggling with different areas of health, one of my first things I usually tell people is to work on their breath, doing Buddha breathing, doing yoga breathing, because you know what? The better that we breathe, the more oxygen we're getting into our blood and our lungs, the more we can fight disease, because oxygen destroys disease. So, now that we got all of that covered, questions? If anybody has any questions about metal or wood, because I didn't get to do a Q&A on metal. Spirit was having way too much fun with my computer that day. Go ahead and type any questions you have related to them, because I'm running out of things to say. Me? Yeah, sometimes I do that. Looking at the comments. Chris, real wooden boxes help to keep our crystals and sacred objects charged and strong. That's very true. Nice little carved wooden boxes are great to keep those kinds of delicate objects, unless you're using them in a display. Very true. Crystals and stones balance out wood energy. Yeah, to a point they do. But there's some, like I was bringing up, you know, there are some gemstones completely related to the wood energy. So I think it depends on the properties of the crystals. Like if you're using more of the other elemental strong crystals, right? Then you're balancing that wood energy. But like amethyst is a wood crystal. Tanzanite is a wood-based crystal. And let me rephrase that, wood energy-based, different. So I would say that as far as balancing out wood as a whole, you need to look at some of the other crystals that have the other elements in them to balance them. And then you may not be using as much amethyst or tanzanite, iolite, aquamarine, that kind of thing. For me, I like to blend everything, obviously. So I try instead to make sure that all are incorporated in a balanced fashion in order to bring more homeostasis and the flow of chi to go, the energy flow to be more positive. So earth energy crystal associations. Yeah, yeah. Actually, water. Water complements wood because water energy creates wood. Wood creates fire. Earth, see, I see the two of them as really coming together a lot more than what the teachings do, because in a lot of the stuff that I was reading, it's always that wood energy is destructive to earth energy because it disturbs the soil, right, by the earth, by the root systems. And yeah, I would bring in earth as the counterbalance and water as the fluid flow balance. Wood and fire elements to bring in more of the circumference in the nourishing cycle. Excuse me, that's eight. And earth energy crystals to balance the scale of them. That makes sense. Any other questions? Oh, I have a sneeze. I'm sorry. It'll show up when it wants to. Ah. And I know you can probably see behind me, I have a lot of different metal pieces. That's our liquor cabinet. Liquor and wine cabinet my husband built. And that's made from green poplar pine. Great wood. Got a really beautiful flow to it. It's not something that you can burn, at least not in a fireplace, but it makes beautiful furniture. Very heavy wood. You can see that I have different kinds of metals on top of it that help to balance wood and metal. And yeah, even paper is made from wood, sadly. I really hope one day we make that transition back. And I know it sounds weird to say back, but to go back to using hemp for wood so we could preserve our trees more and help our environment better with our oxygen. Besides, it's such a quicker crop and it can make rope and clothing and let's not even go there. But anyway, that's one of my pet peeves. I was also going to bring up, so foods are important as well that the wood element helps to provide to our bodies. Things like berries that grow on bushes, your blackberries, your blueberries, very, very high in antioxidants, very good for us. You know, the wood element, I'd have to say, even though I'm looking at it from, different types of ancient teachings. Me personally, I was really hoping to do this one today outside because I live in the woods. We really take it for granted that the trees are just going to keep being here and helping us. And yet their consciousness is in struggle because of the damages we're doing as a global unit. And yet they provide us with so much more than just that visceral view or shade from the heat, you know? It's something we really need to look at as a collective community about how we're using this element, how we're using nature or not using it. Okay. I would hate to see what the earth would look like without trees and plants and greenery. It's one of those things that you kind of go, we take it for granted, and yet they all have a consciousness. They can all feel, they can all express. We can, I did want to bring this up too. A lot of times we use trees for grounding our energy. And you hear it a lot in the different communities about, go out and hug a tree to help yourself ground, that kind of thing. And I used to do it a lot when I was doing massage therapy and healing work on the public. I'd have a really difficult client, and that would be my thing. As soon as I was done, I was outside touching a tree and clearing my energy out, sending it down, getting it transmuted by the earth and tree energy. Lately, in a lot of the trance channeling sessions that I've been doing for other contexts, one of the things that's been brought up is working with the ley lines and working with the tree root systems to help impact Mother Earth's energy, and it ending up going through Mother Earth's chakra systems through the ley lines, and then back to us through the photosynthesis of it returning back into the air element and coming through the trees. So there was a really cool visual that I was given about, a lot of us have talked about, I want to meditate and share energy with Mother Earth, or I want to help do meditations that are healing Mother Earth and all of this. And the ley lines have been coming up a lot in those conversations and particular readings that I've had with clients. So this is I thought it was a really profound way to use a meditation on healing earth energy and ourselves, doing global. And excuse me, I told you these sinuses are getting crazy today. So one of the ways of the visualization that they gave for the meditation, and you can do this anywhere or anytime, is if you're near a tree that you love to use, that is an old tree, got a lot of years on it, you can use a young one, but they're a little more delicate with energy, so you don't want to over amplify the energy on a younger tree that's just trying to get going. Okay, so you might want to use something older or do it just as a visualization. Doesn't matter. So what they gave me was, so you're visualizing the tree. This is a meditation. You're visualizing the tree. Go into the tree. Allow your consciousness to flow into the tree. You're touching the bark. You can feel the textures. You can move into the base of the tree, into those inner layers. You're feeling those rings surrounding you, that beautiful energy. And then you flow down. We always want to go up to spirit, but this is a healing energy for us, for spirit, and for Mother Earth. So you would go down and you would flow your energy down into the root system of the tree, bringing it further down until you're reaching the water table that it touches, right? Reaching into that water table, flowing into the ley lines, using the visualization of the water flowing in the earth, bringing you into the primary ley line. Okay, think of Mother Earth's ley lines as a chakra system, because they are aligned with her chakra system. And then you send that energy flowing through into the ley line, and it connects. And whether it's you you might picture yourself as that ball of light flowing through there. If you're wanting to focus it just as a healing energy, you can do that. Really doesn't matter. It's your intent, the energy of the intent that you're using for it. Okay? So you get into the water table, deep into the earth, and that's deep, okay? Get into it. Allow it to flow you into the ley lines. Allow that healing energy, that reset, love, all of that to flow into the ley lines, and it flows all the way around the earth. And it's got branches too. Can't forget the branches, so you want to send it through. And when you're bringing it through, when you come full circle back to where you started, that's when you want to push that energy ball down into the core and allow it to come back up. And okay, because it's going to come back up into the air, the atmosphere, right? So then you're giving healing to the atmosphere, and then back in through the air to the leaves of the tree, and back into the tree. So you've made a full circle. And this way you're actually impacting Mother Earth on a global level. You're doing the plant consciousness in the water. Another way, you're doing the ley lines, you're doing the chakra systems, and yourself. Great way to flow the energy. Really, really cool stuff that you can see in meditation with that one. Isa. I used to spend hours climbing trees when it helped me to get into this state. Yeah. And we love to hug the trees. The more that we can work with the different elements that are a part of our living physical body, our emotional body, mental body, and spiritual body, the more that we become balanced in homeostasis, and what is inward comes outward to our external surroundings, such as our homes, and into the collective energy for the planet, for the other humans, for the animals, for the collective. It's just a way of bringing things full circle. And I see they're just having a grand old time with my computer again, because I'm like, Excuse me, my washer is done. So, any more questions or comments about the wood element and how you can use it for yourself, how it relates to your human body or your environment? Before I sign off and go have a talk with a few spiritual visitors who like to fuck with my shit. So don't forget the color for the wood element. How can we forget? It's green. Incorporate green. It's also one of your chakras. Don't forget, we like to look at the chakra system. So bring in more of those. Amethyst. We all love to work with amethyst. Great wood element energy in amethyst. Don't forget your wood statues. Maybe wood frames. These are all parts of it. Your home. There again, you're balancing your metal energy and your wood energy in the construction of your home with the water element. So you want to make sure that it's got a nice flow. And since it's springtime, splurge on yourself a little bit. Get yourself a nice new plant. If you're like me, I have problems with overwatering plants, and so hubby takes care of the plants because he's very green thumb. But I do love having them around. I do use a lot of plant energy in different work that I do. So don't be afraid of dabbling in it. In one of my other videos, I know I shared the book before, but Cunningham's Magical Herbs and Plants, awesome book of information. And I bring this one up in particular because here we're talking about the elements, right? And I've been telling you what planet they're associated with astrologically, yin, yangs, all that good shit. In that book, you can also look for plants specific to their planetary alignment. Plants that carry that specific planetary energy to bring into your home, bring into your gardens, whatever. It also tells you if it's a male or female. Remember yin, yang, male, female, blue. So that's a great resource. I use it a lot to make sure that I'm balancing my elements and make sure I'm balancing my yin and yang in different work that I'm doing for those intents. So that's a great resource book. Because it's not just herbs, it's got the trees, it's got the plants, it's got good shit in there. Definitely worth the investment of buying that one. What else? I don't know what else. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure I was going to do this today or not, but well, we're doing. Don't forget emotion. What did we say? Anger, patience. What else did I say? Kindness. Anger and kindness are the yin and yang emotion to the wood element. So work with them. I am not one that tells you that half of your emotions are negative, lower vibrational emotions, and these other half are positive, higher vibrational emotions. I'm calling bullshit. Yep, I'm calling bullshit because the range of emotions that we are physical human beings using multiple layered tools for our soul's learning progression, right? Our emotional body does not have a line dividing it going, oh, you're bad and oh, you're good. No. It is a table of contexts for us to use. It is a range of expression for us to use and learn from and value and use with all of its ability. Okay? So it's in how you use it, it's in the energy and the intent of expression, it's in the energy and intent of communication of our emotional processes. So don't suppress them, okay? Wood has the element of anger and kindness. Those are its balances. There is nothing wrong with getting angry and pissed off. It's a part of being human. It's a part of expressing ourselves. It's how we use it. It's not negative. It's not positive. It is. It is a part of our tools to be in this physical vehicle. Simple as that. It's how we use it that makes the difference. Okay? If you're using your anger to be destructive and harmful, right? That's pretty shitty. Doesn't have a good chi to it at all, right? But if you're using your anger to learn more about yourself because something pissed you off, now you're learning about a trigger that you have, looking and reflecting within as to why that trigger, why that emotion was so strong, and how you communicate that emotion makes a big difference, right? Because if I were to go to my husband and just like ream his ass about something that upset me, that made me angry, I've just defeated the whole fucking purpose of communicating with him, right? But if I can learn to express my anger in a healthy way, I'm keeping a better flow of chi within myself and within the expression of my emotional body. I can go to him, hey, you guys leave my computer alone. Fix it. You know, even if you have to take a few deep breaths or wait a little bit to express it, it's going to make a difference. So if you go in and you're just blasting somebody out of anger, you're not serving yourself and you're not serving anybody else. Your anger is coming up. You need to see how to express it and allow it to flow through without the intent of harm, but with the intent of positive communication of emotional expression. Kindness is its balance. If you're people pleasing, doing everything so that everybody thinks you're kind all the time, doing everything where you're giving so much of yourself and everybody's like, oh, your kindness is so great, it's so awesome. See, you can also see where it's depleting. You're not using that emotional expression in a positive way. You're actually using it more in a harmful way to yourself and to them, right? Balance and scales. So I'm going to end on that note because I don't have anything more to add about the wood element. I'm not seeing any other questions coming up about it. And Spirit is like totally fucking with my computer hard. So thank you all for joining me today for this discussion about the wood element. I really hope these little informative videos are helping, or at least helping each, helping you in your life of having a better flow of energy, better flow of chi, and helping you to bring more homeostasis to yourself, your family, and your home. Okay? So, love you guys. And I will be back online on Wednesday, same time on Wednesday. The series is 9 segments long. This is number 2. So I got 7 more to do. They'll be on Mondays and Wednesdays throughout the month of April. I wrap it up on May 2nd. But it will be 1 p.m. Eastern Time every Monday, every Wednesday through the month of April. We're addressing each of the elements, and I'm doing 11, probably 12. I'll probably add the void in too, Chris, so don't worry. And kind of make this a little bit more rounded in depth for each of them to get so that we are bringing actually a full picture and not a partial picture. Okay, so love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Much gratitude. And my husband's home. He's home early. Bye. Yay! Bye. Yes, I want to end.